All right, what's going on, guys? So I want to give you guys a quick update. I believe a lot of things are happening right now. If you've been following the news, if you know the timeline of what's coming up, I think the next few months leading up to early next year are going to be very critical. And the warning I want to give you guys is that you've got to be very cautious on what the news says and what people are saying to really dig through. A lot of things that are happening right now, a lot of people are not buying it. They're discerning. They're trying to see, man, there's something bigger and greater than this, than what they're saying, what they're telling you. And so you see that with the cases. You see that with the trials. You see that obviously this whole year with the election fraud and many other things. And so I believe we're in a good place right now. It looks like it's hopeless. It looks like it's not good in many aspects, but you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're listening to? Which news outlets, what areas, what stories, how are people spinning things? And what is it that is really going on behind the scenes? And so there's a big jousting, a big information war. There's a big sort of narrative understanding and I don't want to say manipulating, but controlling sort of that narrative such that the population can handle it. And even with the Ghislaine Maxwell case, the judge is saying that it's too sensational and it's too inappropriate, whatever, for the public to see. And so you're just getting things like that where people are dictating what it is that you can consume and what you can't consume. And so in this next hour, you have the Michael Lindell Supreme Court hearing. You have I forget what it's called, but the way that he's presenting it and how attorney generals and many people, they can get into it. There's seriousness behind this case. And so a lot of people are going to brush it off. A lot of people are going to say, oh, that's just him doing whatever. But if you actually look through it, it's very serious. And so, again, there's precedent such that's the Supreme Court. If they ignore this, if they reject it, there's going to be a big constitutional crisis. And so a lot of things going on there. You have a lot of aspects of the Biden administration. I think when President Trump said that the 25th Amendment was going to come back to haunt him, it looks like, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but if Biden actually gets impeached, the 25th Amendment gets, brought forth. Kamala Harris comes up, presents that, and then they bring other people. They sneak somebody in, whatever it is, last minute. Those can be very damaging or not damaging, but traumatizing for many people. But I think it's part of the greater story that the elites and those people are trying to do to control everything. And so, again, Trump, I think he called it earlier. I think he knows the plan. I think he knows what you would call the deep state are doing right now behind the scenes. And so he's countering the moves. He's doing all these different strategic maneuvers. He came out recently with his Truth Social and the acquisition company. I think, as I've said before, the media, they're done in some sense. And so I think you'll see those guys crumble. They may get acquired. They may have to change names. They have to do a lot of things. Facebook changed their name to Meta too. And in some sense, you would think it's for a new vision, a new future, but I think it's also to rebrand their past image and various things. So you have a lot of things going on right now. You have to be open. You have to be alert. There's a lot of exposure. A lot of people have prophesied for that. And those things are happening. And the next few months are going to be very critical. And I think a lot of things were being held off. And there was a lot of weight such that until a lot of the population woke up, a lot of them got on board. And this is where the majority of the U.S. and the population, they've researched, they now know, they understand, and they're going to stand up. And so Trump and many other people, they have the backing of the people right now. And so you have all these congressional, senator, or whatever, advocates and nominations that Trump is endorsing and things like that. And so all those things, I think, strategically are being placed and maneuvered that when 2022 comes and the future elections come, then you can get all these people coming back in. And so I think strategically there was a time that they waited this whole year until they wanted to bring them back. And so whatever that is, the military, I think, is the last resort. The Space Force is a big factor right now. They tracked everything. I believe they have everything. And they're going to, at some point, bring back all of this. And so whether it's that theory of devolution, whether it's something else, there's some constitutional precedent to be able to do that, because they know they tracked the stolen election. They did all of this. And so all of this is going to be revealed. It's just something that can't be digested by the general population. And so I think all of this is going to happen very soon. I would say keep your eyes open, get excited. I think a lot of people are going to realize, and they're going to be able to digest it. But not only that, they're going to actually want him back, because they allowed Biden to ruin the country in essence for this long, and people were able to realize that and see that. You have inflation, hyperinflation, you have gas prices going up, you have all these different things and mandates and so many different things that the people don't want, the education systems and everything. And so I think all this was played out for a reason. And in this hour, you're going to see that come to pass. The prophetic words that people have all said in the past, you're going to see exposure. You'll probably see a lot of people, not probably, you will see a lot of people be brought to justice. And even now, a lot of people are resigning. They're stepping down. They're doing things. They're trying to get ahead of the story. A lot of people are coming out with their news stories. So you got to ask yourself, why are these people just suddenly coming out of nowhere? The Steele dossier and the Mueller investigation, many of these different things. So you're going to have, as the truth comes out, these guys who, are given, these prizes, Pulitzer Prize or whatever those prizes are, of investigative journalism, be pulled back and retracted. And so my hope and my guess is that the media will admit in the future they were wrong, they made it up, and of course that's going to lead to lawsuits and prosecution and all this stuff. And so you'll have justice, you'll have these things come. And so it just needs time to unfold, but God is there. He's a righteous and just judge. And so he's going to take care of these things as people have been praying. And the remnant and many Christians in this country, they've come together. They've awoken other brothers and sisters. They've prayed together, and they're allowing this to happen. And so I'm excited. I think it's good. And I just summarized a bunch of stuff. A lot of people will probably be like, what are you talking about? I have a lot of questions. But if you've been tracking it, you understand what's going on behind the scenes with the news that's being reported, not the propaganda, not this other crazy stuff that they're trying to control, but really doing the deeper research that you have to do. And so again, guys, point being, get excited. It's a good time, but just be cautious. Be very cautious on what they say, how they frame things, and what they're telling you, because if you don't do that properly, then you're just going to eat up what the counter argument is, or the fake narrative is. And so people are going to be divided. So I think in this next few months, it's going to be a tough time for the nation. It's going to be a tough time for the world, but we have to get through these growing pains to be able to come out on top on the other side. And so again, like President Trump is saying, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. And I really believe that. And so I think in some sense, he knows, and his team in the military, they know what's going on. But more than that, God has hand over everything. And so again, this is not about Trump and being a savior and like all this stuff that people are trying to do. That's the cop out. That's the easy way that people are trying to comprehend this. And then they're trying to fight against it and saying, no, that's not what it is. But you have to think about it. Throughout history, God has used, he's ordained, he's given the mantle to people to be able to do his will. And so it's about God. It's about God using somebody as small and as dinky as, President Trump and all these other people to do his will. And so you have to get behind God and righteousness as opposed to getting behind the person. So nobody's sitting here going, oh, praise Trump and worshiping him like he was, the next goddess of a god of something, but he is just being honored and revered. But at the same time, people know who he is in this point in history. And so again, I'm calling it out right now. A lot of people are going to give me a lot of flack. Hey, man, he's not the but again, you have to see it from the alternative side, and as well, what the possibility. And again, I'm not saying I know everything. A lot of people they're trying to figure this out, but there's something else going on. For sure, there's something else going on. And so what I know for sure that's going on is God is going on right now. And so he's doing stuff. And stay encouraged, guys. So it's a good time. Stay alert, and more to come. But God bless you, and we'll talk soon.